everyone, it's Nina. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today I have a fun video to share with you featuring some of the newest products from the Simon Says Stamp August 2016 card kit. I created 2 cards with this card kit so far. You can see the one on the left is the one we're going to be creating today, and the other one is on my blog, so be sure to head on over there. In this card I feature the stamp set and also some of the distress inks. Plus I have a giveaway, so make sure you head on over to my blog to enter into that as well. Before we get into the card, I want to share with you the contents of the card kit for this month. 2 items that are included in the kit are the Distress Ink Mini Ink Cubes. I love how cute and small these are. You're going to get Chipped Sapphire and Festive Berries in this particular kit. These are great. You can even put the ink sponge along the bottom portion of the ink pad. I don't do that. I keep them all in a big container, but I know a lot of people do like to do that. Here's the Vented Star die. This is a really cute die that creates a really cool vented pattern in a star shape. I'm going to be using this to create our little shaker card today, so you'll get to see this die in action. Also included in the kit is the Seeing Stars stamp set. This is a really fun stamp set. I love the constellation galaxy feel of this particular set. There's also some really cute borders, and the sentiments are really great too. Really fun set, and I really love how you can pair these sentiments together to create some really fun greetings. You're also going to get a stencil. This is the Fireworks stencil from Simon Says Stamp. Really cute, and I love how small and compact it is. Really perfect for when you're trying to create scenes on a card. Also included in the kit are pattern papers. These pattern papers are from Pebbles. They have 2 sides, so there's one pattern on one side and then a coordinating pattern on the other. There's a variety of different styles and patterns. There's polka dots and stripes. Some other fun papers that are included in the kit are these resist papers. These papers have patterns printed on them, with the pattern being in a glossy finish. So which means when you apply ink over top of these papers, that glossy finish will resist your ink and give you a really cool embossed resist effect. In our card today, we're going to be using the white paper, and in particular, we're going to be using the star pattern. The white's a little harder to see, but you can see as I turn it in the light, the pattern that you get. There's both numbers and stars in both the craft and white colors. And then of course, finally you get some pattern papers. You've got white cardstock, red cardstock, blue, and also a second piece of white. These are all Simon Says Stamp cardstock, so they're super high quality, and they're all 100 pounds at least. The white papers are actually 120 pounds. To get started on our card, I'm going to die cut a piece of the white cardstock using a Simon Says Stamp stitched rectangle die. And I'm going to start running my vented star through my Big Shot machine until I have the entire background of this paper covered with this star pattern. I'm going to rotate the star a little bit here and there, but I want them all to be generally going in the same direction. Once I've run them through to cover the entire paper, I'll remove the die, and you can see the vented pattern that we have into the paper. I'm going to pop all those little negative pieces out, and you can see here I've already done that. They all went in the trash can for this project, but if you really wanted to get creative, you could actually die cut that and then glue all those little vented pieces together onto paper, and then have your own vented star with the negative pieces instead of the positive piece. So another fun way to do that. Meanwhile, while I've been chatting away, I'm taking some stars that are included in the Seeing Stars stamp set, and I'm stamping them in some Simon Says Stamp clear ink. I'm doing this because I want to heat emboss these with silver embossing powder, so I've just sprinkled the embossing powder onto my paper. I'm going to go ahead and heat set that with my heat tool. As I'm heating up the embossing powder, I'm being careful to remove the heat off of the melted powder before it gets overheated, because as it overheats, it'll start to actually bubble up, and you don't want that. You want a nice smooth finish. So I'll go ahead and repeat this stamping of these stars across my paper until I have the entire background of this covered. I'm going to set that aside and move on to creating the background. I'm using the resist paper that's included in the kit and some Delicata silver ink. This is a really beautiful metallic silver color. It's got a little bit of a shimmer, but it's mostly a metallic color. And I'm using an ink blending tool to sponge on this silver ink onto this paper. This creates a gorgeous metallic pattern paper, and I really love how this matched up with the star pattern of our card really nicely. Now I also wanted to buff the stars a little bit to help them stand out. There's a little bit of ink that kind of pools up onto the stars, so just take a little bit of a rag or soft cloth and buff up those stars just to get that extra ink off. Now I'm going to be inlaying this shaker card into our panel here, so what I need to do is I need to die cut our stitch rectangle die into the pattern paper to create a frame. I'm going to take that frame, put adhesive along all of the edges, and I'm going to lay this down onto a piece of transparency. This transparency, you can also use window plastic, packaging from stamp sets, all sorts of other clear materials, basically something that's slightly thick and plastic. You don't want it to be too thick, just a nice thin, almost like paperweight, and you're just going to use that as the window for your shaker. I'm going to apply adhesive to the backside of our die cut panel here, and I'm going to inlay this right inside the frame that we created using our little embossed resist paper. I'm going to make sure I get this nicely pressed down good, and then I'll go ahead and start working on building our shaker. Now that other portion of this pattern paper that we had die cut, we're going to be using that as the backer for our shaker because we want to have that star pattern just slightly showing through those vented stars. So I've added foam tape along all the edges, and now I'm creating a card base because this card is actually a little bit bigger than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I needed to make a slightly bigger card base, so I'm just taking 2 pieces of cardstock that are the same size as our card so far. I'm going to line these up, and I scored about 1/2 inch down from the top of the one piece, and I glued a second piece on top of that. So what this does is this creates our very own top folding card base, so that way we can have it slightly bigger than the normal A2 size card. So you can see it's covered completely with our shaker panel. Speaking of the shaker, we need to add in the shaker elements. So I'm taking a bunch of pretty pink posh sequins. I'll have all the colors listed on my blog. I'm adding also some silver confetti inside. These are the little mini silver confetti stars. I've removed the adhesive backing on the foam tape, and I'm going to apply my card base right over top of our shaker panel. I'm going to make sure I have this lined up perfectly, and then I'll go ahead and press that down really good so that way our sequins are encaptured inside of this little panel. So now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. I'm taking the sentiment Eurostar. I'm going to stamp this in some Festive Berries Distress ink. Sometimes Distress ink will stamp well. In this particular case it did, and I'm going to use it as a wet ink to heat emboss my sentiment with some clear embossing powder. However, you might want to check before you stamp down your sentiment with Distress ink to make sure that it will stamp well. If it doesn't, you could either stamp it in a red ink and then go back over top with a clear ink, or you could stamp with clear ink and heat emboss it with red embossing powder. So I'm going to pop up my sentiment using some foam tape onto my card, and that's going to finish it off. So I hope you've enjoyed and got some inspiration on using the new Simon Says Stamp Seeing Stars card kit. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and head on over to my blog where you can get more information on these cards, including still pictures and products used, and also enter into the giveaway. And also remember that there's a second card over on my blog as well, featuring the stamp set and some really gorgeous galaxy backgrounds. If you enjoyed this video, here's another one you might like, featuring Simon Says Stamp exclusive products. Please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can connect with me on social media at Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, as well as my blog. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.